Aspire to Inspire and Embrace the Power Production. I'm your host, Dr. Jennifer Blalock, Chief Energy Officer of Ingenuity Solutions. And I'm super excited about our guest this evening, a very inspirational person. As you know, on our show, we recognize and really get inspired by individuals across the nation, all around the world, who are doing incredible things and can help us do incredible things too. Our guest this evening is Amy Lee Miller, an author, motivational speaker, and career coach. Through her one-on-one accelerated success and leadership coaching program, she helps driven professionals like all of our viewers gain clarity and traction toward their career goals, offering coaching and workshops in the corporate space, helping leaders increase self and social awareness, maximize their strengths, and hone in on their focus. She's the author of 2 books, Ready, Set, Recruit, The Hiring Manager's Guide to Recruiting with Confidence, and Where's My Mustard? How to Let Go, Attract, and Achieve a Quest to Self-Empowerment. So Amy, welcome. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Blalock. I am doing great. It's great to be here. How are you?
I'm doing really, really well. And I have to ask you, tell us one thing in 2023 that is already inspiring you.
And one thing in 2023, so many things. You know, I'm fortunate and lucky and grateful to feel inspired every day. You know, not just as 2023 a new year, but I look at my viewpoint as not even is every day a new day, but every moment is a new moment. So one thing that always inspires me is that I have the power, and we all do, to shift our focus. We choose our focus, and our focus dictates our actions, and then our actions create our life. And so that's a superpower. So that has me excited for 2023 and always.
I love it. And you and I share so many things in common. In my book about celebrating your extra, I definitely emphasize very similarly to you that every moment is your opportunity to thrive, to excel. And I love how you emphasize that you can navigate your own path. Tell us a little bit about how you empower the individuals, the companies, the teams that you coach to get that confidence that they're able to drive and guide their own career and life.
Great question. One of my favorite things to coach on and to talk about is fear versus intuition. I find that when we feel out of alignment, frustrated, unhappy, there's a very good reason for that. And a part of that reason can be that just something as simple as maybe we've gotten away from tapping into our intuition, and our intuition is strong enough to guide us, strong enough to keep us safe and protected. So of course it can also be strong enough to guide us in the right direction. And a lot of times what we might be going in a direction or continuing with a direction, career or otherwise, in our life that we think we should keep going with. But if we really stop and take a moment to get present, take a breath, and listen to ourselves, what happens is we hear ourselves. And then the answer, the solution, the initial step, the new direction shows up.
I love it. The answers are right here if we're willing to take the time and have that courage to explore and become self-aware. Tell me what inspired you. You're the author of 2 books. You've got a successful coaching business. You train companies. You have a website. Tell us what motivates and inspires you to do that.
I think that sometimes our deepest pain can be our catalyst that propels us to later make our greatest impact. So if you look at people who are massively successful, if you peel back the layers, we often find that they went through a lot, and it takes perseverance. It takes really getting honest with ourselves, digging deep to uncover the root of the issue, so that we can then work through it. And then that the catalyst, the challenge, the deeper struggle actually ends up providing us the path and the opportunity to later make our greatest impact. So when I was younger, and actually throughout most of my life, I struggled with depression, and also had pretty severe anxiety for a couple of decades as well. And I somehow, even when I was much younger, I inherently knew that if I could uncover the reason then I would be able to find the solution. So it was basically, and this is what my second book is about, A Quest to Self-Empowerment. Where's my mustard? I was always digging. I was on a constant quest to try to uncover the reason why I was feeling unhappy and carrying around this emptiness, with me. And even through that, through carrying that feeling, one thing that I always had was my work ethic. And I kept rising up in my career path once I finally got on a path and got started. But I still felt unhappy. And so I was just on this constant quest, digging, researching, looking within, a lot of introspection. And ultimately I did uncover and overcome the issue that was holding me back. And so I'm very passionate about a lot of things, but two main things. One, helping others identify and overcome what obstacle is holding them back and equipping them with the tools to do that. And I also get really excited when I hear people acknowledge, okay, well, this is what I'm doing. I'm successful here, but I really want to be doing this. And I love seeing people talk about what lights them up and then helping them get on a path to accomplish what it is their bigger goals, what it is they'd really like to be doing.
I love that. It's so important. So often when people are, unhappy, depressed, miserable, it's because, as you shared, their true passion, their intuition about who they really are is not aligned with where they are in life, because they're, trying to achieve or live up to external expectations and things like that. So that self-knowledge and awareness is so key. And you obviously focus in on individuals, but I'd also like to talk a little bit about the book on HR recruiting, because we know that the workforce is more competitive than ever. And it's not only challenging for us as individuals to find that right company, that perfect fit career path, but also for companies to recruit the right team members. Tell us a little bit about how you're bridging that gap in the work that you're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great question. So yeah, I recruited for 8 years and it was a great career. I really enjoyed the relationships that I built with the hiring managers, my clients, as well as helping to coach star candidates throughout the process and helping them improve in their interviewing skills. But one thing that I noticed, towards the end of my recruiting journey, I began to get increasingly frustrated with a lot of the unnecessary inefficiencies I noticed in the recruiting and hiring process and interviewing process. And it was making my clients, the hiring managers' jobs more challenging than necessary. And so I felt like I could help them in a bigger capacity. And so that's what was behind my mission for writing the book. But it basically starts with the foundation. I call it the foundation, which is establishing what it is you really want and why that is. It's going to be the path getting what you want is so much more challenging when you haven't identified exactly what that is. So that involves taking some time on the front end. So for helping hiring managers ask themselves the deeper questions of, okay, what is it that we really want? And why is it that we want this? Because otherwise you can start the interview process and you'll be interviewing folks that don't end up matching the criteria that you actually want if you haven't identified what you want. And then the same is true for candidates. We can likely all identify with a past interview experience where we went into the interview not listening to our instincts, knowing that I don't really want this job. I've been there before. And then, a lot of people will say, well, go through the interview process, get the experience, do your due diligence. But if you think about it, that's a lot of time wasted going in a direction that you don't feel aligned with. So we want to get very clear. This is for candidate and for hiring managers on what it is you want and why you want it. And then you have a solid foundation to start with. And then the process and path getting what you want is much easier. Jordan Peterson says one of my favorite quotes, which is, you can have whatever you want, but you have to know what it is. So
what you want. Yeah, absolutely. Talk us through a little bit for all those listeners out there who aren't really clear what they want, but they know they want more, right? And they're looking for that dream job and they're considering a coach, but they're a little nervous about it. What would the benefits of it be? And how can a coach help them unpack and start to self-discover and put them on that right trajectory toward professional fulfillment?
Yeah, that is a great question. I would say first, if you're not already, if you know that, so let's dial it back a little bit with the start of your question. Okay, so you know that you want something bigger or more meaningful. You want to be doing something where you feel like you're making a greater impact, but you don't know what that is. If you are not already, I definitely recommend seeking out knowledge on your own, books, lots of great coaches out there too. But of course, at first you want to see what you can, what knowledge you can find on your own, because you want to learn to be resourceful, become what I call a seeker. So check out YouTube, speakers on YouTube, check out books and see what messages align with you. And then I always recommend, if you find a speaker or a book whose author or whose message resonates with you, go deeper. That's what I did on my quest. And I learned so much. And then I've worked with coaches too, of course. So if you, sometimes we want to get where we're going faster. And so working with a coach, I think, can help you accelerate faster. We don't know what we don't know. And so if somebody has knowledge in an area that you don't, of course, I'm a big proponent of getting where we want to go faster and finding resources to help you get there. So one of the things that I help my clients with is gaining clarity, as you mentioned. And that can be as simple as, again, going back to your intuition. Take a moment to ask yourself, let's say you don't know what you want to do, ask yourself, what do I feel like doing? That can often be, even if it's an illogical action, it can often be, and it has been for me throughout much of my career progression, the first step in the right direction. But a coach can help you by asking questions that maybe you're not yet asking yourself. I find that the answers are within. And when we peel back the layers, dig a little bit deeper, ask ourselves, okay, well, what do I want? Why do I want this? Or what's bothering me and why is this bothering me? That can help us get started in the right direction. But a coach can help you get there faster and then help you align specific action steps to prioritize to continue going further faster and actually with less effort.
I love that. I think sometimes, the idea of you have to go slow to go fast, right? You've got to recenter, get that great objective feedback from a coach who's going to help you. Maybe, like you said, ask those tough questions you haven't really asked yourself yet, or you haven't even thought about, that could potentially open up some personal doors for you into, understanding yourself better. Tell us a little bit about, for those of our listeners who've never really had a coach before, what will that relationship look like? How will you develop trust? How much time will it take? What has been your experience?
So I think that's going to be different depending on the coach, depending on the program. For my one-on-one coaching program, it's pretty hands-on, meaning that I take a lot of time because I'm preparing on the front end as well as preparing on the back end after each touch point. So it's not a huge time commitment for my clients. It's more of a time commitment for me. But I like to, my coaching program is accelerated. So I want my clients to get results quickly. So we meet once a week over Zoom for an hour. And then I'm also available as a mentor. So they can text me, they can email me, we can hop on shorter check-in calls. I want to make sure that my clients are getting the support that they need and that they are progressing. Just from my experience talking with other folks, I know some coaches do more of modules, course kind of work. And then maybe the touch points are group coaching, which I may later move into some group workshops and group coaching if it makes sense. But for now, I'm helping a lot of my clients really uncover and overcome mindset challenges. And that can be, kind of personal. So that's what my coaching program looks like. And it can be different, of course, depending on the coach, and different strokes for different folks. Different things work for different people.
Absolutely. And I love your emphasis on individualizing the coaching process. However, I'm sure in your vast experience, you've seen some commonalities or, really some of those roadblocks that a lot of people have. What would you say are some of the top things that are preventing individuals from fully maximizing and achieving their professional potential?
Yeah, great question. One is mindset. And believe it or not, this goes for both hugely successful people. So a lot of my clients will come to me and they're maybe already a successful entrepreneur running a big business or small business, and others not business owners, but very successful in their career. and there still can be some fear around, I want to take this ability to succeed and apply it in a new area. So I help them dig deeper to uncover, where that fear is coming from, and then help them to shift their mindset and give them specific tools to do that, to have success doing that. So mindset and shifting that belief that I can achieve whatever I set my mind to. And then another challenge, common challenge is focus. And we can all struggle with this at times, myself included. And when that happens, we want to get back to, having the ability to prioritize comes back to being able to discern what is meaningful. And when we have a distracted focus with all of these things on our plate, some simple tools to help you alleviate that is writing down your goals, writing down a to-do list to compartmentalize and then schedule time to work toward that specific goal. That's one of the things that I learned and implemented whenever I started to write my first book. I had a lofty goal to write and publish my first book in 90 days, and I did it. And the first thing you have to do, thank you, is schedule time. So if you have that new goal that you're working toward, or just a big project with work, you want to schedule time. And another successful thing or success tip is to tackle that first thing in the morning, or during that time of day. You want to get to know yourself better. If you're super energized and focused in the morning, like me, that's when you want to do your toughest work that requires the most mental energy. Or if you're an evening person, night owl, and that's when you're energized, then maybe that's your time. But you want to schedule time and prioritize that time, and then that habit will carry over into creating the rest of your day.
I love that. And, I tell everyone, we are on these all the time. Use them for good. We have a notes feature on here. We can, put that little to-do list. And the other thing I always tell people too is we have these big lofty goals. You talked about writing a book in 90 days and how you achieve that. You broke it down into smaller, manageable steps, right? So you've got to take that first step every day. If it's just a little bit, right? If you want to work out for an hour, but it's not happening. Hey, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, yep. Right? Writing for 5 minutes. You didn't get to do the full 20 or 30 that you wanted to do, but you did something. So it's celebrating those small wins. So I absolutely love that. Amy, we are in a time where people are facing a lot of personal and professional challenges. The world has changed for good in new and sometimes, uncertain directions. And so I wanted to ask, for individual professionals right now, what would be a piece or a kernel or a nugget of advice that you would give them as they maybe are taking a leap of faith or moving into a new profession, a new industry sector, maybe working from home and they've never done it before, being an entrepreneur? What kind of advice would you give to those individuals?
Great question. So much advice. One thing would be to have a schedule, with your smaller and bigger goals on it each day that you're waking up and looking at, and try, if you're working from home and this is a different kind of environment that you're not used to and you're used to more structure, you can definitely create structure for yourself working from home. So maybe that is you've got your action plan pulled up every day with your timeline schedule. And if you're also, give yourself what you need. So if you are working from home, but you need social, or you like to get out and about, pay attention to what it is you need so that you can give yourself that. For example, I'm pretty strong in focusing, but one day in particular, I was having a really challenging time focusing. And when we have a distracted focus, we don't get very much done, or we get a lot less done. So when we instead take a moment to listen to what we need and give ourselves what we need, which is maybe to step away that particular day that I'm thinking of for me, I had a lot of work and I was really I wanted to get it done, but I was not having any success, which is not like me. So finally, I just wanted to go for a walk. And I finally, after 3-4 hours of trying to make myself focus, I gave up and I went for a walk. I just walked for an hour. Nothing miraculous happened on the walk, but I gave myself what I needed. And when I got back, my mind was clear, because when we are not giving ourselves what we need, or when we have a problem or a frustration, we have a distracted focus. And so I think our mind is trying to figure out how to fix that challenge while we're trying to stay focused on the work that we're doing. And it doesn't work very well. So when I got back from my walk, I got an idea because my mind was clear. I was present. And then I was excited about my idea. I acknowledged it. And then I got back to work and I got much more done in a shorter amount of time. So that's a great little tip that maybe I think that a lot of people maybe don't think about, is to pay attention to what you need so that you can give yourself what you need. And then when you come back, so maybe it's just a 30-minute break to go walk around the block, go get a cup of coffee, call a friend to say hello, step outside to have a tea. Give yourself what you need. And then when you come back to your work, you will get more done with less effort and in less time.
I love it. Such simple steps that really can make a difference. I have certainly felt the impact of that as well, and certainly recommend to any of our listeners out there who are ready to elevate, who are ready to actualize those dreams, those ideas, those goals that they've been thinking about. Now is the time. Working and collaborating with the coach that is the best fit for you to help motivate and accelerate is a great investment to help achieve that. Reading books from individuals and practitioners like Amy Lee, like myself, will only make you stronger, better, open your mind, and hopefully inspire you. That's what this show is all about. So it's been an absolute pleasure to have you as our first guest in 2023 on Aspire to Inspire and Embrace the Power production, where we highlight individuals who have dedicated their career to inspiring others. So thank you so much, Amy Lee Miller. We aren't done. We will actually be meeting several more times throughout the year to give great tips to help people achieve their goals and make 2023 the year of their dreams. So Amy Lee, we've got your information on how people can get connected with you, your website, your socials, your awesome books. It's been such a pleasure. Any final thoughts before we sign off?
Thank you so much for having me. It has been great, Dr. Blalock. Let's see, final thoughts. Yeah, I love to say, stay curious and get excited. And what I mean by that is when you get an idea that excites you, lead with the excitement and choose wonder over worry. Instead of worrying about how you're going to get there, we can't know our path, get curious about it. There's a lot of power in curiosity.
I love that. Such wonderful advice. So many incredible nuggets of wisdom that you've shared with us. I can't wait to get a copy of both of your books, except I don't like mustard. But for you, Amy Lee Miller, I'm going to get the book. Everybody check out Amy Lee Miller's socials, her website, her LinkedIn, get connected, build those connections so that we can all prepare for the best 2023 yet. This has been the inaugural 2023 edition of Aspire to Inspire. I'm Dr. Jennifer Blalock, Chief Energy Officer of Ingenuity Solutions. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks for having me.
Excited to introduce the Unleashed podcast starting 2023. On the show, we'll hear from folks who are doing what they love. We'll learn what sparks their ambition to persevere, because let's face it, achieving what we truly want is not easy.